Hello everyone and welcome to another video. How is everyone? How is your climb going? Well, today's video will be a two-part video, mainly because I saw some requests in the comments about what is the best build in runes for Volibear. There is a certain build that is very popular in solo queue and even in pro play, and that build is by far the most effective build to win fast many games. It's built mainly around one core item and one rune, which is the Sunder Sky with the rune Press the Attack. For the rest of the runes, they are there just to give you early game advantage in duels so that you can get ahead and buy your other items faster. This build is mainly used by pro players to make Volibear easy to use when you have reliable teammates. So far, the current win rate for this build in pro play in this year, 2024, is 42%. This shows that even among veteran pro players, Volibear is not doing very well. The main reason is that Volibear is a champion made for solo queue. And if you check the stats on the websites that have all the latest updates about pro play statistics, you will find out that they all build this famous build. The second thing about solo queue is that this build performs well if you have a good team and you plan to shadow someone. Let's say you have a good mid laner and a good top laner. With this build, if you play above average, you are mostly guaranteed to win. Regarding my opinion about this build, I think it is a very bad build. And I don't like it at all because it makes Volibear predictable. You play it in a certain way, and it puts you in a very vulnerable position as a jungler. To be honest with this setup, you can't fully enjoy the game because there are many other options that give you the possibility to win and have fun. To speak technically about this build and why it sucks, let me show you this. This is a good graph about this build, and it shows that the longer the game goes, the more likely you will lose the game since this build is based on only making small plays around skirmishes. Hence, there is a higher chance that you will lose in the team fight. So yeah, if you are looking for a viable build to play that is most likely a bit boring, I suggest that you go with Press the Attack and Sunder Sky. Most likely you will be using this setup of runes with Dead Man's Plate and Spirit Visage. The rest are mostly situational items if the enemy team is full AD, full AP, or whatever you may come across in your solo queue game. So yeah, if you are asking about the build that I like the most, so far I'm still looking for it. But otherwise, currently I am trying to play with a different approach, which is to have Berserker's Greaves as your first item followed by Riftmaker or Frozen Gauntlet, depending on the matchup. So far it seems that I have won more with this build than with the previous versions at the start of this split. But since we didn't go above dozens of games, I think it is far too early to say or decide if this build is better than the average build used by most of Volibear mains in the jungle. I think I have found, how can I say this, a very weird build used by a Brazilian Volibear main that he plays Volibear top with Navari Quickblade and Rod of Ages. We will be trying that build in the next video, hopefully sooner rather than later. Now, if you're wondering how to play Volibear in the jungle, you mainly pick Volibear in the jungle for two main reasons. Either to win the duels against the jungler, or to camp one lane. Since Volibear's damage is mostly focused around one target in the early stages of the game, it is highly likely to focus your attention on small fights and skirmishes with champions that you are confident you can win against. Lately, I have been trying to challenge the jungler in his jungle with Press the Attack, since I know I have the advantage in the early game, mainly around level 3 where you both have your core spells. So far, I haven't lost any duels with Press the Attack on Volibear, except maybe once against Master Yi with Ignite or something, but other than that, I don't think you can lose the early skirmishes with Volibear. The fact that you try to camp one lane is because Volibear is a very straightforward champion. Riot hates this concept. They made straightforward champions that mainly excel in doing one thing at a certain point in the game, and they say it ruins the game. Then they go and make a champion like Nyla, who dominates at all stages of the game. Go figure. The way you play Volibear in the jungle allows you, as a player, to invest your time in learning other aspects of the game such as macros, micros, prios, matchups, and so forth. This way, you can understand the jungle much better. Now that you know the best build and have a vague idea of how to play Volibear in the jungle, you should ask yourself why pick Volibear in the jungle. If you are seeking the highest win rate build on a random champion, you are picking the wrong champion. There are other champions that are better at jungling than Volibear. Asking yourself why you play a champion or main a champion is crucial to getting better at that champion. For example, in my case, he is a bear, and I think bears are very cool. If I get a chance to play the game, I'd rather play it with a bear. That sums it up. The lore is much more epic than any other lore, and Volibear's theme is by far, in my opinion, the best theme in League of Legends. All this made me create this channel about playing and climbing with Volibear. It doesn't mean I will play only Volibear, but I will play mainly Volibear whenever I get the chance. Hence, I will try to be the best Volibear player possible, and hopefully reach a higher rank than Emerald, as I usually do. These 3 questions about the rune builds and how to play Volibear only cover half of the things you should focus on. For example, the second part of this video is about this game. In this game, it was a disaster from the start. The fact that you play a champion that you like on many levels allows you to endure the hardship of the game. It is like having a pretty wife and when you argue with her. Her beauty helps you endure her nagging and weird passive-aggressive comments here and there. And even if you have the best runes and builds on the champion, it doesn't mean that you will win. There is another psychological aspect of this game. The fact that you are playing with other human beings. They have their own way of thinking and playing, and you should match that and try to be consistent in the way you play. Having one build and one strategy will help you see how to be consistent, but it will not let you be consistent. Consistency doesn't mean unchanging. It means always adapting and being the best in every situation. That's how you can be consistent in this game. In this game, we had an even bot lane, a losing mid lane, and a brain-dead top lane. This is the best way I can describe this game. After they removed the lethal tempo, it is hard to win against Mordekaiser. This Giga Chat of a champion is something that you need to be ready to face because before, if you felt that you were going to lose against Mordekaiser, you could just take QSS. But now they removed this option and removed lethal tempo. Hence, Mordekaiser became a very hard counter against most bruisers, and Volibear is included. So I tried to do my usual thing. Help the top laner. If that doesn't work, help the mid laner. And if that doesn't work, babysit bot lane since they are already even. But mid lane was losing against Wukong, and Malphite wanted to play AP Malphite against Mordekaiser. I don't know why he picked Malphite in the first place. Maybe he likes rocks, or maybe watches WWE every weekend. The game was going very badly for us, but I decided that we will not surrender, and we would play this game through. Since I lost all my games against Mordekaiser, I decided I would keep playing until I find a way to win against this monstrosity of a champion. Whenever I tried to make a play on the top side, Mordekaiser was there to kill me. If I tried to make a play on the bot side, we had Wukong and Fiddlesticks waiting for me. But I think I can win against one of them, but both together is very hard. Orianna was playing very defensively, and I think I made Sonam mad with my first comment. Sivir was playing as any educated AD carry player would, trying to farm and buy items, and Malphite's presence was almost non-existent. Like a super minion that spawns, goes to lane, and randomly dies for the tower. If you think that there is a build or a rune setup or even a way of playing that will help you win this game, you are wrong. The only way to win in this situation is through perseverance and patience. You should not flame, and most importantly, you should not give up. Some would say that knowing which games you can lose and knowing when to forfeit will make you a better player. Perhaps it is right, but that goes against my very nature. When I set myself to something, I will try to do my best until there is nothing else I can do. Also, in this game, I had a different kind of problem. If the enemy team is all fed, it is very hard to build properly against their composition. First, most of the items that you use on Volibear are expensive in this split. And to win against Mordekaiser, you need to have constant DPS and healing that outmatches his sustained damage, since he forces you to fight him in a duel with no help. Just pure 1v1. Against Fiddlesticks, he has fear and drain abilities. To counter that, you either need to build Force of Nature and Trinity Force to be able to chase him and kill him. Against Wukong, you need to build Sunder Sky and Dead Man's Plate or maybe Sterix Gauge, since Wukong's playstyle doesn't fight fairly. He keeps playing with the tempo of the duel in his favor, so you might end up hitting his clone or he will wait until you drop your passive and Riftmaker. Hence, you need items that give you damage in small bursts. As you can see, all these suggestions don't have anything in common and they are all expensive items. So if you are behind and face a composition that doesn't have a tank, you are most likely in a very bad situation, and there is nothing you can do at that moment. The only thing you can and should do is be patient and play around crucial objectives to either stop their momentum or win anything that will help you be viable in the mid or late game. The other part is that you are almost fighting alone since your team will join the enemy team in losing the game. The enemy team is trying to win by pushing, and your team is trying to lose by surrendering. As you can see, there is no guide, process, or blueprint to follow when everything hits the fan, and the game is almost lost. This is why it is crucial to practice self-discipline so that you can enjoy the game. The game requires you, as a jungler, to be the unflinching and unfazed person in the whole game. It is okay to be hard on your teammates, but you should never sabotage the game for a loss. Luckily, in this game, Sivir was the cutting edge between winning and losing. At a certain point in the game, I was the only one holding the game together so that we did not lose. It only requires one good play to flip a losing game into a winning game. It's not about the scoreboard or the goal difference. It's about the mentality and tilt levels in the game. It is said that to be successful, you need to have 3 things. First, you need to have unparalleled confidence in yourself, as if you are overconfident. Second, you need to be hardworking, trying everything possible as if you are a slave to your own idea. The last part is you need to be lucky. This part is not always stressed as important, but to be lucky, you need to be waiting for a lucky moment. That is the best way to be as lucky as possible. You can't win the lottery if you don't participate in the event in the first place. Here, at the slightest edge of the end of the mid-game, we managed to pick off their bot side. How did it happen? We just ended up being there at the right moment when their bot side made a mistake. Now, making a comeback doesn't mean your team is now in good shape to continue the game. We all have different levels of endurance, and sometimes most of your allies will give up. It means literally giving up playing the game. It's as if they are trying to end the game so they can either go to sleep or start a fresh one. To be honest, I understand that. It is just inevitable. What do you expect playing at 1 a.m.? You will only find people that are either bored out of their minds or they are running from doing something important. Hence, you shouldn't expect your teammates to play as if their life depends on it, because that would be asking too much from a League of Legends player who mains Yumi, for example. At this stage of the game, I would say it is the hardest part because the game is lasting longer, and we are trying to win. But whenever we make any advancement towards winning, the enemy team gets more in their favor. This exchange of flow in the game will tilt some players more than simply losing the game, because it is as if you are playing with their hope meter, giving them false hope, then denying them that glimpse of light, and then giving them hope again, only to lose more than in the first place. But here is where you draw the crazy card. Against all odds, we will not be surrendering this game. As you can see, it proves that the enemy team can't end the game even while we are behind. Hence, we just need a tiny push to break this cycle of losing continuous fights and skirmishes. Now the enemy team used all their resources to get 2 inhibitors and 1 tower. In other words, if they recall and they decide to push 1 lane, then the game is over for us. But against all odds, something happened. The Rock, the brain-dead player who hadn't done anything meaningful since the start of the game, made the best play of the game. I kept spam pinging his teleport, indicating that this is where he shines. If he manages to catch them here, just choose any ability to block their path. If we manage to make any significant play at this stage of the game, we will have a chance at winning. After the 30-minute mark, if anyone dies, they will be dead for almost 1 full minute, and we can do a lot in 1 minute against a 4v5. Regarding my own current state at this stage of the game, I didn't think I had any idea what to build, and my brain didn't give me any clue on the best possible item to build in this game. So my choice was between 2 things, either Zhonya's Hourglass or Guardian Angel. I simply followed my gut and picked Guardian Angel. After thinking it over again, I said, well, the best thing I can do is Q, auto-attack, then bite. Playing against Fiddlesticks, he will most likely use his fear on me, and I might die before getting the chance to use Zhonya's or do any damage. But with Guardian Angel, it's okay to die because I will have a second chance at playing the game after a few seconds. That delay will cause a flicker in the decision-making of the enemy team. That tiny window of hesitation can be the decisive call in the late game, and specifically in this game. I should thank Sivir for not surrendering earlier because Orianna was upset. And I don't think Sona took my joke properly. And with this, my dear viewers, our time together has come to an end. Make sure to do the usual. Drop a like and leave me a comment on how you managed to come back when the only hope you have is your crazy inner voice monologuing that someone might disconnect on the enemy team. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Until the next video, take care everyone, and peace.